No one remembered exactly when the rumor began. Some said it came from an intercepted transmission between ruined starships. Others swore it came from a sealed archive of the old Federation. But everyone agreed on one thing. It spoke of a prisoner so beautiful that her reflection could fracture the human mind. A being trapped inside a crystal capsule for centuries, condemned not for what she had done, but for what she could do if someone released her. The soldier who found her was not seeking glory or miracles. He only wanted to survive. His ship had crashed on a forgotten planet, with no signals, no oxygen, and dead communicators. He walked among the metallic ruins, his breath short, guided only by the flashes of his flashlight. And then he saw it, a perfectly preserved chamber, shrouded in silence. And at its center, a transparent capsule floating in a blue liquid, like a tear suspended in time. Inside, a female figure. Her face was calm, serene, yet her closed eyes seemed to warn him. There were no wires, no signs of life. Only an ancient inscription etched into the glass. Do not break the seal. She remembers. The human approached, fascinated. He did not understand the language, but a chill ran down his spine. It was a beauty that hurt, not the artificial perfection of a sculpture, but a human-like, almost familiar face, designed to awaken trust, pity, or desire. Hours later, as the cold began to numb his fingers, he decided to act. He used the laser on his suit to cut a breach in the glass. The sound was soft, almost a sigh. The liquid slowly poured out, and with it the air changed. A warm current swept through the chamber. Then the prisoner's eyes opened. There was no scream, no attack. Just eyes that met his with ancient calm, and a voice that did not come from her mouth but from his mind. "Why did you wake me?" He stumbled back, unsure of how to respond. Every word resonated like an echo inside his skull, mixing fear with fascination. I thought you were dead," she smiled. A human smile, too human. Then, "You gave me life." Over the following hours, the soldier tried to understand who or what she was. She spoke of forgotten worlds, of wars no one remembered, of gods who were not gods but entire civilizations turned to dust. Her name was Illyria, she said, the last daughter of a race that had sworn never to touch the universe again. And now, thanks to him, she was free, but something in her gaze began to change. The sweetness of her voice became distant, almost melancholic. "You should not have broken the seal," she whispered one night. "You do not understand what that means." The human tried to convince her that they could escape together, return to orbit, request help. She looked at him with tenderness. "You think you freed me? But in reality, you trapped yourself with me." The temperature dropped. The walls of the complex began to vibrate as if something invisible stirred. The lights flickered. On the horizon, the sand of the planet began to rise, spinning in luminous spirals. It was as if the world itself was awakening with her. "Every prisoner needs a guardian," said Illyria, "and every guardian must pay the price." The human did not understand, but something burned in his chest. A symbol glowed beneath his skin, exactly where he had first touched the crystal. It was a mark that had not existed before. "What did you do to me?" he asked, trembling. "I joined you to me," she replied softly. "Now we are one. If I live, you live. If I die, you die with me." At that moment, he realized he had not freed a prisoner. He had awakened a force designed never to die. She was not a woman, not a goddess, not a machine. She was the living memory of a civilization that had decided to sleep to avoid destroying more worlds. And he had just broken her dream. The planet began to fracture. The skies opened like a wound, revealing a strange aurora filled with symbols screaming from the clouds. Illyria stepped toward him without fear, without pain. "Do not fear, human. In your world, they call it love when bodies unite. In mine, we call it a fusion of souls. This is our kiss." She kissed him and everything changed. It was not a gesture of tenderness but of surrender. His mind flooded with visions, ancient armies burning, seas of stars collapsing onto themselves, children of light laughing before vanishing. He saw the birth and death of galaxies in seconds, and then silence. When he woke, he was standing in a new landscape. The planet remained but transformed, green, breathable, alive. The air smelled of life. Illyria stood beside him, more human, more real. "What did you do?" he asked. "I showed you what I am," she replied. "Every cycle someone tries to free me. Every time the universe changes a little. But you looked at me without fear. That was enough to start anew. The human understood that his former life had ended. The Federation signals no longer existed. His ship was dust and his name, like countless others, would fade from the records of the stars. But the mark on his chest glowed. "Alive, and now?" he whispered. Illyria gazed at the horizon. "Now you learn what it means to be human before the eternal." He walked with her, unsure if he was her prisoner or her companion. Every step they took, the world responded. Trees sprouted, the wind carried unfamiliar sounds. Life followed their path, yet behind the beauty lay a shadow. A warning echo that every creation is born from previous destruction. Years passed, or perhaps only seconds. No one could know. Decades later, explorers returning to that planet found traces of advanced civilization, organic structures, crystals that sang when touched, and a statue in the valley's center. A man and woman, hands entwined, fused by a single luminous root. At the base, an ancient inscription: "He freed her, and she remade the world." No scientist understood its meaning. Some thought it a legend, others a metaphor about artificial intelligence or alien biology. But one researcher touching the statue felt movement beneath the stone, a faint but constant pulse, and she swore she heard a soft, distant voice whisper, "Wake me again." From then on, the report was classified. The Federation declared the planet a no-go zone, a dead system. No one was to approach, no one was to remember. Yet stories, like scars, always find a way to survive. Today, some say a new signal comes from that very world. It is not a message, not a threat. It is a song, a melody so human, it hurts. Somewhere on the surface, a rebuilt capsule gleams. Inside, a sleeping figure. And on the glass, a new inscription, perfectly carved. "Do not break the seal. He remembers." And so the story repeats, an eternal cycle of human